Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to set my phone down for a minute and I'll pick it back up and show you the cards. But I'm going to do a reading for Sagittarius energy. I'm away from home and I don't have my tripod. So we're going to see what's going on in Sagittarius energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different vantage points because people have free will. Some people aren't as high vibe Sagittarius. They look at life as an adventure to be lived. They've kind of wrapped their brain around this game of life to realize that, we got lessons to learn. Other people have lessons to learn. High vibe people are moving forward in the energy of love and peace and joy. And they're motivated and inspired by love and peace and joy. And other people are more motivated by the world. That's what drives and motivates them. Some people are kind of immature and they're driven by their lust or their greed or their addictions or fear, and they still have lessons to learn. So we're gonna see what's going on. Okay, the reason for the reading is the Leo card. Some people might be influenced by a Leo. Some people might, the Leo strength card makes me think of people. How do they handle their ego? Are some people in their ego? Do they make decisions out of fear, insecurity, pride, ego, selfishness, greed, immaturity, full of themselves, don't think they have any lessons to learn? Other people have learned to temper their ego and have learned to be strong and to temper their more worldly, beastly nature. And high vibe Leo is about being illuminated to the truth that I do need to temper my beastly, egoic nature, my fearful, insecure nature, if I want my dreams to come into reality. And if I want to be able to make decisions out of peace and love and joy, I need to be strong. So we start out with the Sagittarius card. And then we have the Six of Swords card and the Seven of Swords card. Some people have a lot of mental conflict about moving forward in their life and doing things differently because it might require them to temper their pride and their ego and admit there was something they missed, because the Six of Swords moves away from the Five of Swords, which I have mental conflict. Something is not going right, and either the way I'm living my life or the people that I'm dealing with, there's some conflict here, and it could just be that we have different dreams. Do I believe in my dreams? Don't I believe in my dreams? The Six of Swords and the Seven of Swords are Aquarius energy. Am I willing to step outside of societal norms to bring needed change to the world? Or in my ego, do I conform to the world? Am I going to not believe in my dreams, not take creative, inspired action to pursue the things in life that really inspire me, that I really love? Am I going to live my life authentically? Because that's also what high vibe Leo's about. Being your authentic self in the world, letting your light shine, letting your more vulnerable, authentic nature out in the world to play. And some people are like, that causes me mental conflict just to think of living my life authentically, because then I can't have my ego protect me. I'd be being more vulnerable. And some people like to wear a social mask all their life and just let their ego run their life, and they keep their more authentic nature hidden. But in order to move forward in life and live life differently, the truth is what sets us free. We have to see the truth about the Seven of Swords, about how we might have deceived ourselves about what we thought our dream was, how we might have deceived ourselves about not moving forward in believing in ourselves and believing in our dreams, and we've stayed more up in our head and up in our fear and in our insecurity or in our ego. Some people don't want to see the truth that in their shadowy Aquarius energy and Leo energy, that they're much more driven by how people view them, and they want people to view them a certain way. They want, and that's the most important thing to them. It's more than living their life authentically. It's all about image and presentation. Or some people are really driven and motivated to look like a shining star in the world. And it's all about the money and the ego and the image and the status. Or their dream is to be an immature player, because that's what shadowy Sag is. And the whole thing is, in tarot, we have the pages, we have the knights, we have the kings, we have the queens, we have the emperor, the empress, the hierophant, and the high priestess. Some people have a lot of life lessons to learn, yet they're just still kind of immature. And they think life is all about indulging their ego. Isn't the dream to indulge myself in my lust, in my greed, in my immature, impulsive, not having to grow up? Isn't that living the life? Some people are immature and they're not willing to live their authentic life and detach from some people in their life. Some of them might have some might have to detach from a Leo, some might have to detach from their ego. Some people are used to people who harness shadowy Leo energy. People, and they don't have to be a Leo, just people who kind of manipulate and control them and play on their fear and their insecurity and maybe their lust and their greed and their image and status and blah, blah, blah. And they're kind of still drawn and attracted to people like that because they're kind of drawn and attracted to that within themselves. And if any of you had been in a friendship or a relationship or a workplace with people like that, you saw the truth. And you saw that they were kind of immature, that they do let other people or their fear or their insecurity or their ego manipulate them. And they might not want to see the truth about themselves or the people in their life. And it ended up causing you a lot of mental conflict. Some of you could have been in a relationship or friendship with people where it's all about them. The Six of Swords moves away from the Five of Swords, and the Five of Swords can be people who are very egotistical, have to be the center of attention. You're supposed to indulge them in a relationship. It's supposed to be all about them. Everybody else is supposed to put aside their pride and ego, but not them. And they don't even maybe see that they're like that. They haven't seen through the illusion of their self-centeredness. And you saw the truth. And there could be a part of you that is like attracted to someone and you'd kind of like to not be bold and brave and confident and live your life differently. Why do we repeat old patterns of the past? Because it's scary to move forward. It's scary to detach. The next card coming up is the Three of Swords. It can be hurtful to detach from people in our life and scary. It's hard. We have the Seven of Swords here, and we go to the Three of Swords, meaning there's a Four of Swords at play. We have to heal from our own fears, insecurities, and self-limiting beliefs in order to live our life differently and move away from people in our life that we might be attracted to and have passion for, or, want to stay in a relationship with because it's kind of our comfort zone and it's scary to move forward. But you saw the truth, and kind of once you see the truth, it's kind of hard to keep indulging your more immature, indulgent, fearful, insecure ways when you see that that's why you're doing what you're doing in life, or seeing that you're kind of indulging other people that are prideful and egotistical and selfish and self-centered. And, you could have spoken. The Wands and the Swords all talk about communication. You could have told people, I'm inspired to move forward. I have a dream. I have taken action to heal from my own mental conflict, the things I haven't wanted to see the truth about. I realized I did have past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs that was maybe making me repeat certain patterns of relationship. But I've taken the time and taken creative, inspired action, because Sagittarius energy is about higher education. I did the work within myself to work through my, to think about what my dreams really are and what kind of life I want to live. And do I want to release some of this baggage in my life, or do I want to keep operating from fear and insecurity and pride and ego? Do I want to make my life and stay in jobs and relationships because of the status and the image and the money? Or do I want to be free? To look at life as an adventure to be lived and free myself from my past pain and heartbreak. And some of you did that work to heal. That's what the in-between here is, the Four of Swords. It's like, I want to put an end to past pain and heartbreak with the Ten of Swords. I want to put an end to letting fear and insecurity and past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs run my life. I want to, in the Temperance card, I want to balance out, which is also Sagittarius. I want to wrap my brain around this game of life. And I know I have fears and I have insecurities and I have self-limiting beliefs. And I have these conflicting wants and desires in the world. But I need to be free. And I want the people in my life who I love, I want them to be free too. And you could have communicated with them that, I have mental conflict continuing to live my life the way we've been living it. You want to deal with your past pain and heartbreak and your self-limiting beliefs and maybe rethink what your dream is. Is it really just going to be about ego and image and money and materialism? Is that the point of life, or is it to be free to live your life authentically? And you could have tried to balance things out with people and, again, communicate from a pure, innocent place that, do you want to do love? Are you going to call judgment on your mental conflict? Are you going to call judgment on an old dream? A dream we could have maybe gotten in our head when we were young, maybe based on the people that we grew up with and how they said we should live our life. And when we were young, living in the world, and we kind of get indoctrinated by the world, and patterned and imprinted and indoctrinated upon. Is that what our life is going to be about? Keeping up with the Joneses, or never dealing with our fears and insecurities and just being in our ego, really? And you communicated that I'm not going to live my life in a way that breaks my heart. If you're an immature player and you're prideful and egotistical and you still think, that's what drives and motivates you, okay. It's hurtful to be in a relationship with you because I feel like you backstab my being authentic, being truthful, being honest, being loving. I've tried to balance things out with you. I've tried to be encouraging and supportive. But if you aren't, we can only see the truth when we can see the truth, and we can all look back at our life when we were young, like starting at whatever age, 15 to 18 to 21 to 25 to 30, and all the different things we felt about ourselves and the things that limited and restricted and confined ourselves. And we could have back in the day had people like, well, why aren't you more bold and brave and confident? Why aren't you standing up for yourself? Blah, 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 Well, we just got to go through life experiences, to get more brave and confident, to kind of stand in our truth in a not defensive way, just to authentically stand in our truth, to no longer, the Temperance card of Sagittarius kind of reminds me of being at a place of peace and balance within yourself, and also not listening more to your mind and your ego. You're listening to your intuition, because the reason for the reading is the that's under the Strength card. The 9 of Cups, to me, if we're in our ego and our fear and our insecurity, it could be stopping us from being emotionally independent of our ego. Where, again, we can live our life free, because it's like, you know what? I've learned to look at life as an adventure to be lived. Yes, I've been heartbroken before. Yes, I've had people who are deceptive and manipulative. I've been with people who are kind of immature and prideful and egotistical, or people, we deal with all sorts of people in our life, even in our own families, right? Are we going to keep staying in a place of heartbreak and putting an end to balancing out the dreams that we wish would have come into reality, wishing other people would have been different, but since they weren't and we got hurt, we're afraid of moving forward in our life now? So now we're just going to move forward in pride and ego, and we're never going to reconcile ourselves with our past pain and heartbreak, how our inner child was hurt, because in our past we dealt with people who move forward more in pride and ego, who are maybe more about themselves, who are maybe kind of immature, who maybe were manipulative or bossy or controlling. Well, they had their own issues that they were dealing with. And it's not to take it personally. I think if everybody had seen the truth, and everybody did see the truth, the thing is, we live in the world and we all have this dualistic nature, our worldly nature, which can be very selfish and greedy and self-consumed and immature and have a lot of lessons to learn. And we have our more loving, intuitive, creative, inspired nature. If we choose to tap into that to offset our more worldly, beastly nature, to be a more loving, enlightened human being in the world. Well, because other people in our past maybe didn't choose to temper their fears and their insecurity and their ego, doesn't have anything to say about the fact if we deserve to be loved or not, especially if we were trying to be truthful and honest and loving, and we're inspired and motivated, and we wanted to have people move forward with us to bring a dream into reality, but some people chose to betray that because they live more from their mind than their heart, because they haven't dealt with maybe their inner child wounds. So then we just had to balance out our emotions that, we had people who had a lot of mental conflict and defended, kind of operating more from their pride and ego and thinking that was the way to be happy in life. And for some people, being in their pride and ego and making it all about them and being immature, that does make them happy. And they kind of do want to win at all costs, and it really doesn't matter how other people feel. If you're going to be in a relationship with me, this is what the shadowy people would say. If you want to be in a relationship with me, well, I guess you're not going to have to love and believe in yourself. Because you are attracted to me or want to be in a relationship with me or want this job, I guess you're going to have to be in denial of the truth too, because you have a dream you want to come into reality. So I guess you're going to have to move forward with me, living more from your mind than your heart. And you're going to have to sabotage your truth and put an end to your inner child hopes and dreams. And you're just going to have to balance out your emotions that you've decided that you want to win at all costs. Because you're in your ego about being emotionally independent of me and willing to move away from me, to put an end to being in a relationship with people who are hurtful or unkind or manipulative or bossy and controlling or full of themselves. And if you're not willing to balance out your emotions about all those contradictory feelings that you have and call judgment on people that seem to want to win at all costs, that might be quite immature, well, then I guess you're going to keep moving forward with me and not have your wishes come into reality, because you've decided you would rather stay in a relationship with me because of your fears and your insecurity, or your want for looking like you have it all, or like a dream by worldly standards. It looks like, you have it all. Your dream has come into reality, even though you feel backstabbed and betrayed. Some people that are kind of immature and are kind of prideful and egotistical and think they should be indulged in the world. Some people thought for sure you would just try to balance things out with them. But because you called judgment on them, some of you could be dealing with an air sign, a Libra, Aquarius, or a Gemini, but it doesn't have to be. It's just someone who lives more from their mind than their heart and their ego. They could feel betrayed because this is how they view life. No, this is what we're supposed to do. Life is about never dealing with your mental conflict. You don't temper your pride and ego. You don't deal with those things, The way to stop your past pain and heartbreak is just to put an end to your inner child dreams, balance out your emotions that you've decided, I'm just going to be strong about the fact that I have a lot of mental conflict about my happiness, but I'm never gonna deal with it. And they could have thought that you were gonna live your life like that too. And they could see that you listened to your intuition in the Seven of Swords. And you were like, you know what? I've got a dream and I'm holding on to that dream. And I'm going to listen to my intuition. And though there is a part of me that would like to move forward with you because I would like to have a dream come into reality with you, if my intuition is telling me that you live more from your mind than your heart, and that you've decided that your life is all about living more from your ego, where if you're in a relationship with people, you think it's just and fair for you to manipulate and control people, to be selfish, to be self-centered, that it's all about you and your indulgence, and that you really don't plan to bring my dream into reality, you're defensive to that. Some of those people saw that you were doing this work within yourself to heal yourself, that you started to listen to your intuition, to deal with your own inner conflict about your own issues, and that you were seeing the truth and you were going to move forward in life differently. And because you have a different dream now about how you want to live your life versus how they have always imagined living their life, and the people they plan to be in a relationship with, they thought would live their life the same way as them. And when they saw that you were no longer heartbroken, but you were balanced between your mind and your heart, that's when they could have decided they didn't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. Because in order to move forward with you, they either have to keep trying to make you think that they're at a different mental place in their life than they are. And maybe some of them had already been kind of putting on an act, trying to act like they were something they weren't, trying to pretend that they were more grown and matured than they were, that they were a strong, brave, independent person, when really they were kind of immature still and codependent. And when you were starting to heal, they knew that you wouldn't keep indulging them in an illusion. You were ready to move forward in more truth and clarity and authenticity and love. And they could have realized the gig was up. They couldn't indulge in a relationship with you anymore, because in order to keep moving forward with you, they'd really have to do that work within themselves, temper their pride and ego, love themselves, learn how to fill their own cup instead of being codependent, become more emotionally independent in the world, become more independent of other people in their life, their ego, the world, their fear, their insecurities. And so then they could have felt betrayed by you. You did work within yourself, and they never do that work, so they didn't think you would do that work within yourself, and they could have felt betrayed. Some of them are codependent, kind of like a child, and they could expected you to kind of be like a mother figure in their life, whether you're male or female, where you just indulge them being kind of immature because they're maybe used to people in their life indulging them being kind of immature and not requiring them to grow and mature themselves. And if you weren't willing to indulge them anymore being immature, they decided they needed to go find someone else who maybe that they could maybe tempt. Maybe someone else who they thought, maybe they're trying to replace a Leo in their life, or someone who tempers their own dreams in order to be in a relationship with someone. Like, oh, okay, I'll give up on my dreams in order to move forward with you. And they decided, I'm just going to backstab this person to get them to kind of move away probably. And I'll just balance out my emotions that I've decided I want to win at all costs. And I'll go find someone else who's willing to temper their dreams and not shine their light, not live their life authentically, to indulge me in a relationship, because they might have, and anybody can do that. And just like when you were in a relationship, maybe the whole point of you getting into that job or that friendship or the relationship was for you to learn, because you had lessons to learn. You had lessons to learn about being more bold and brave and confident, maybe, of, maybe it provided an environment that both of you had the opportunity to do the work within yourself, but you did the work and the other person didn't. And anytime we're in a friendship or relationship with people, we all have the free will to put in the work and effort to temper our pride and ego, to work through our issues and our past pain and heartbreak so that we can keep moving forward in a just and fair and balanced and loving way, treating other people the way we like to be treated. Or, somewhere along the way, some people decide, like, I'm good here. And and there too, it can be some people have mental conflict with change, because in order to change and move forward in life and do things differently, they do maybe have to deal with some things in their own mind. Again, maybe past pain and heartbreak from childhood, or ways of thinking about themselves or the world around them that somehow they got in their head in childhood. Like, oh, I couldn't possibly do that. Or, oh no, I can't take bold, brave, creative action. Oh no, I can't, harness high vibe Aquarius energy. I can't step outside of societal norms. What will people think? People might judge me. I can't become more independent. I would have mental conflict about detaching from people I'm kind of codependent on for my state of emotional well-being or sense of stability and security within myself. I'd have to balance out my own strong emotions and decide that I was going to stand up and defend my own dreams. And it might be that I'd have to communicate with other people in my life who might be trying to manipulate and control me and keep me codependent on them. And I'd have to stand up for myself, and they might not like that I stand up for myself and I have my own dreams. They might decide they don't want to work with me anymore. Some people have people in their life who harness shadowy Leo energy. They're manipulative, they're controlling, they think they should be able to tell people how to run their life. And sadly, some people are codependent on those people, and those people don't want them to be independent of them. You're not supposed to go live your own life. You're not supposed to believe in your own dreams. You're supposed to live life exactly the way we live our life. Some of those people could have even known that some people were in loving relationships, that their dreams could have come into reality. They were in relationships with loving, tempered people who weren't trying to manipulate and control them, basically. Where they could have been emotionally fulfilled and had a dream come into reality. And they could have had some of the people in their life trying to get them all up in their head and cause them fear and insecurity. I don't know. I don't think you should move forward with those people. Those people might backstab you and betray you. I don't know. They seem pretty strong and independent. I don't know. Maybe they're kind of full of themselves. I don't know. They seem to shine bright. I don't know. Other people might want to be in a relationship with them. They might betray you. Other people have betrayed you. Other people have backstabbed you. And then they were like, oh my gosh, you're right. Maybe I don't want to move forward with those people. They might break my heart. They might backstab and betray me. And instead of balancing out their strong thoughts and emotions and deciding I'm going to defend this dream and I'm going to be bold and brave and confident and I'm going to speak my truth to the people I'm in relationship, I'm going to talk to them about my fears and my insecurities and my self-limiting beliefs, and we can all work through it in love and move forward. And some people didn't do any of that. Some people didn't communicate, didn't do any communicating. They kind of got up in their ego and their fear and their insecurity, and they could have taken some impulsive, reckless action that was deceptive and manipulative, and the other people in their life found out and they felt backstabbed and hurt and betrayed. And for other people, some people you were in a relationship just don't want to live their life differently. They want to go find people who live the life the way they live it, who are happy living a life more from a worldly perspective. Do you want to be in a relationship because it looks good? Or because of your fear or your insecurity or codependency? Me too. Let's get in a relationship. Do you have hope and faith and belief in your dreams? No? Perfect. Me neither. Do you have a lot of mental conflict about past pain and heartbreak that you never deal with? Perfect. Me too. I don't ever plan on dealing with them either. Let's keep living a life of pain and heartbreak and making decisions out of fear and insecurity and lack of self-love and codependency. And let's get in a relationship so it looks like we're living the dream. You know, the thing is, we either move forward in truth and love, seeing the truth, that life is about love. It is about balancing out our strong emotions, about past heartbreak and betrayal, and other people that we wish would have been more balanced and loving, or so we can be free of it and call judgment on our mental conflict about it and stand in our truth that I have tempered my pride and ego about the past. It doesn't say anything about me that people in the world and people I've dealt with in my life had their own issues to deal with. Some people were loving and kind and nurturing and supportive, and some people weren't. Okay? I've learned that the key to life is to stay balanced within myself so I don't backstab myself, because I can have all sorts of people in the world backstab and betray me, kind of like people kicking you to the curb and throwing you to the bus, but only we decide if we're going to stay there. Again, we all have a dualistic nature. We live in a dualistic world. You could look at it as the battle, a spiritual battle living in this world between people who are in loving energy and the energy of love, and people who aren't yet in the energy of love and may never get in the energy of love, and they're in more shadowy emotions: fear, insecurity, petty, envious, jealous, insecure, vengeful, self-pity, negative energy. Negative and positive energy are energies battling within this world, and everybody's battling those two dualistic natures within themselves, and we've got to listen to our intuition. I kind of look at the wands as kind of listening to your intuition about who is being deceptive and manipulative, what is their view of themselves and the world, and who is being truthful and honest, and who's done the inner work within themselves to love and believe in themselves and to detach from the past and have dealt with the past pain and heartbreak and have learned to listen to their intuition to guide them and not keep taking impulsive, reckless, immature action out of fear and insecurity because of past pain and heartbreak. You know, we're either tempered because we've done that before and we realize it doesn't work out in our best interest to act immature and impulsive and reckless out of pain and heartbreak and fear and insecurity. And you might have learned that lesson because of your own life experiences, or you've dealt with enough people who do that where it's like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm no longer going to indulge people who show me that they're immature and reckless and have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship, or are self-centered or egotistical, or have mental conflict about love. I'm going to temper my ego and realize there was a lesson I was meant to learn there, that if I don't want to keep repeating that type of pattern in a relationship, then I better move away from those people. Because those people might be immature and have a lot of life lessons to learn, and that takes time. And I've already learned those lessons, and I've healed from that type of pain and heartbreak before, and I'm staying balanced within myself to put an end to immature people in my life. And I'm going to stop communicating with people like that. And I'm going to let the divine guide me and let the energy of love guide my decisions. There are consequences for the decisions we make in our life. And some people maybe don't know that. Some people might think, oh no, I can operate from pride and ego and immaturity and indulgence, and I can go get in relationships and be all about myself and hide my true nature and try to create an illusion that, oh no, I'm fair, I'm not prideful, I'm not egotistical, I'm not selfish, I'm not greedy, I'm not insecure. And they are. But they think so long as they can deceive people and confuse people about the truth of who they are, then there's no judgment. Well, there's judgment regardless, because, well, for one, they're never growing and maturing themselves, and they're never going to grow themselves to their full potential. And that's kind of creating a little hell on earth anyway, right? I mean, how many of us want to keep living like a 15 to 18-year-old life over and over and over again? And we see other people in the world growing and maturing themselves and not acting as impulsive and immature and self-centered. Wouldn't we kind of like to be that? But some of these people who don't see the truth, they could think that everyone is that everybody, because I think we tend to view other people as being like ourselves. They could think that everyone else is just putting on a better show than them. And they really don't think anybody does the inner work, that everybody's just kind of putting on a facade. They're so caught up in the illusion of their own delusions and fears and insecurities that they think everybody's living this fake egotistical life and way of being. And other people are really putting behind an end to their more immature ways because they've grown and matured themselves. And what they don't realize is that, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And they're definitely, I think, going to experience some people calling judgment on them, because people are going to see that they're immature, that they're not who they say they are, that they're prideful and egotistical and want to be indulged. And the same pattern's probably going to repeat over and over. Oh, I'll just go find someone else. Well, a lot of people in the world want a dream to come into reality. And it isn't to indulge an immature, self-centered, egotistical, want-to-be-indulged person. If they present themselves as being someone who harnesses high-vibe Sagittarius, high-vibe Aquarius, high-vibe Leo, oh no, I look at life as from a higher perspective. I'm a strong and brave and warm and giving person. And then you find out it's all a facade. The same thing's going to happen over and over and over. People are eventually going to stop being in relationship with them. Because being in a relationship with them, this person does things, and, initially, we want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and we're kind of not listening to our intuition, because even though our inner child and the divine is telling us, this person lives more from their mind than their heart, this isn't going to end well, you should call judgment on this person, but we don't want to initially see the truth because, we have a dream we want to have come into reality. So we keep trying to inspire the people to get on the same page with us and keep moving forward in hope and faith and belief and love, and we're being strong. And that's all okay, nothing wrong with that. It helps us learn lessons along the way, but there comes a point in time where I can't keep being in denial of the truth anymore. I have to move away from this person, because I can be strong and I can be loving and I can be encouraging and I can be communicating and all these things. But if they're not doing that work within them, it's a free will choice. We have a dualistic nature. We have free will. And if they're not doing the work to look at life from a higher perspective and move forward in truth and love, and instead they want to keep being in denial of the truth because they want to keep repeating the same old pattern, Why there's some pattern in their life that they don't want to see the truth of. Either they don't want to see the truth that they're immature and indulgent, and this is their view of life, and they think people should indulge them. Or if you're loving and balanced, they don't want to move forward with people like that because they're used to people, and their comfort zone is being in relationship with people who are more manipulative and prideful and egotistical and maybe image focused and all that because of something in their past. But that is the very thing that made them defensive to love. But they haven't been able to reconcile that within themselves. Why aren't I doing love? There could have been something in my past. So until they see the truth, they could be being drawn and attracted to people who remind them of the very people of their past who hurt them, because they haven't done the work within themselves to heal it. If we don't see the truth about people in our past, that, I was hurt. They were kind of prideful. They were kind of bossy. They were kind of manipulative. They were kind of controlling or manipulative. We have to see the truth. And some people are like, no, I refuse to see the truth. Those people were wonderful. Okay. But why aren't you being truthful and honest and vulnerable and loving in the world? Well, I don't know. It's like, okay, well, I guess you're going to keep getting in relationships with people like that till you finally see the truth. That it's kind of like people going back to someone who, could have like some type of addiction. And it's like, I am bound and determined. And I keep wanting to repeat that scenario of getting in a relationship with someone who has that same addiction. I want them to pick me this time because people in my past didn't pick me before. This time I'm going to win. This time I'm going to get them to move forward with me. And then my pain and heartbreak will come to an end if I can just get people who have that same addiction to give up that addiction and choose me and love me. Good luck. That's why we need to do the work within ourselves. We don't need to make people who are manipulative or prideful or egotistical or selfish or greedy or materialistic or immature or whatever have addictions to love us. We can put an end to our past pain and heartbreak by balancing out our strong emotions, educating ourselves about the fact that it doesn't say anything about our worth and value. People were where they were at. They weren't seeing the truth. If they could have seen the truth, they would have moved forward in truth and love, but they were caught up in repeating some of their old patterns. And we balance out our emotions and we call judgment on our mental conflict that I'm going to be free. I have freed myself from the past, and I have learned to fill my own cup. I have learned to give myself the things that I wish other people would have given me. And then we've healed that past wound, and we don't need to be in a relationship with people who remind us of those people from our past that we wish would have loved us. It's kind of us not looking for someone to replace the mother that we wish we had, someone to replace the father that we wish we had. It's us learning to be our own best mother, father, coach voice in our own head. So we're not looking for someone to be that for us. And we're looking for other people who've done that same work within themselves. People who've healed their inner child so that they can look at life as an adventure to be lived and believe in their dreams and let go of all those self-limiting beliefs because I wasn't worthy and I wasn't good enough to be loved or blah, 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 blah. All the stuff we tell us in our head that keeps us stuck from shining our light and being in life-giving energy, being emotionally independent of the past, of our fear, of our insecurity, and realizing loving ourselves and being in the energy of love, looking at the world from a place of love and compassion, that some people are still caught up in the illusions. Some people are still caught up in their mind and their fear and their insecurity. And when we see that, we wish them peace and we move on. But we have a dream to protect. And I can't be in relationships with people who haven't seen the truth that it's about love. And I don't want to be in a relationship with people who are immature and indulgent and selfish and greedy either. So there you go, Sagittarius energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.